I'm here with Bill Halter, weekend sports anchor and media journalist, or multimedia journalist at KSBY News. Start off, Bill, I noticed you're a play-by-play announcer, and do you do that at Cal Poly games, or what kind of games do you do that for?
Well, since I've been working here at KSBY, I've had one opportunity to do it, and that was when we televised the Cal Poly UCSB game in January. So I was able to do some play-by-play there. And then I also did some play-by-play for the radio. We did some high school games this year. I did maybe half dozen of those games this year. Something I love to do. I did it coming out of college a little bit. But in this field, you don't get that many opportunities to do it. So any chance you get, I'm more than happy to jump at it.
That was my next question was, is it something you practice in college? I mean, is it I know it's not really broadcast journalism, but
well, yeah, I mean, I did.
It's a form of it.
I played basketball, and then the year after my career was over, I still had one more year left of school, so I called the games for the college basketball team.
Oh, okay. So you got to do it for your old team back in college.
So that was my first experience with it, and then once I graduated from college, I had a play-by-play job with another college team for a bit before I got into TV news.
So how do you get into something like that as a journalist? Like, do you just kind of practice it at any opportunity you can get, like you said, or you kind of have to, push some people and make them let you do this?
Well, the most important thing, whether it be trying to get a job on TV, whether it be trying to get a job on radio, and whether trying to get a job on print, is you've got to prove that you can do it. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I got the play-by-play job out of college, I just showed them a tape of some play-by-play stuff I did in college. They liked it. My resume could have been mediocre. My cover letter could have been mediocre. Obviously, it helps if those are really good. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, but the most important thing is they need to be able to see that you can do the job. So when I got the job initially at a TV station in Bismarck, North Dakota, it was because I had put together a tape. They liked what they had seen on the tape, and I got hired that way. So the most important thing, all the other ancillary things are great and they're really important, but you need to be able to prove to the potential employer that you can do the job.
Okay, so when you announced for your college, did you, how did you prepare yourself for that? Because I've tried to do it while I'm sitting there watching a game, and it's a tough thing to do, is do it play-by-play. Did you have any experience, or did you have any advice from a different play-by-play announcer?
When it comes to preparation, things like that, I've never been great. I kind of just go out and do it by feel. I mean, it's just something, to me, it was kind of natural, and maybe if I would have prepared myself for certain situations, I would have done a better job.
You might have psyched yourself out too.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe exactly. Yeah, maybe exactly. Yeah. Sometimes when you overthink things, and maybe that's kind of part of my rationale, is I didn't want to. You don't want to react to a situation by something that you've already pre-planned, especially in play-by-play. I mean, in play-by-play, you've got to go reaction, because if you try to pre-package some sort of a game-winning slogan or something like that, it's probably going to come out bad. But no, I mean, that was just something that I watched games my entire life. I had heard people do play-by-play. I felt like I kind of had maybe a unique style of my own, and I went out and just did it. And then you kind of just learn from it. The more you do it, you just kind of learn and pick up new things. And
do you have a favorite sportscaster, or do you try to emulate anybody?
No, I don't try to emulate anybody, and I don't do it enough to really emulate someone. I loved Kevin Harlan growing up. I always thought he had the perfect mix of kind of staying out of the way, but also getting excited at the right moments. Okay. And keeping you engaged in the game, whether it was close or not. So Kevin Harlan was a guy that I always kind of looked up to growing up. But I think you're going to get yourself into trouble if you try to say, hey, I want to be like him, and maybe just steal a couple of his catchphrases and things like that. That's probably not going to work.
Okay, so as far as your multimedia journalism here, because this is a multimedia class that I'm doing. How has that helped you so far as not just a sports journalist, but you and everybody here at KSBY?
Well, I understand the importance of connecting with people on the social media networks. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we need ideas for a story or help kind of maybe getting someone to talk to us, if we throw something up on Facebook, hey, does anyone have any ideas on this? We'll get 10 or 12 people.
So you guys find stories with Facebook.
We do, and that was something that's new to me in the year that I've been working here, is how valuable that can be. Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense, because since I started college 4 years ago, I mean, it's been changing in the last 4 years. Yeah. Like, stuff I learned at the beginning of school is not what I'm learning now in my senior year. So
yeah, it's of course. And I mean, if you don't evolve with the business, you're going to get left behind. And there's so many people that were in this business and they were just on air, never picked up a camera in their lives, and now the business is changing, and and kind of asking the reporters to do more work and go out and shoot their own stuff. And a lot of kind of old school reporters have been left behind a little bit by the fact that, hey, they don't want to learn how to shoot. They've never done it. They don't want to engage people in Facebook. But that's the way it is now.
So when you started as a journalist, did you use any of these things, or did you just start getting into this since you joined KSBY?
Yeah, at my old station, we didn't do any Facebook stuff. We started posting to the web towards the latter end of when I was working there, which was a couple years ago now. So we started doing some website posting. But yeah, I mean, this is all kind of evolving over the last couple of years as far as communicating with people through Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook now. Yeah. Everyone's got their computers up at all times. So if you send a Facebook message, they get it like that. So yeah, it's certainly within the last couple of years for me.
Okay, and it's kind of hard to say, but what is your prediction for the future of journalism, and particularly sports journalism? Because I know sports journalism is a different type of writing than writing news stories. And so, I mean, do you think that the future of journalism is just going to, like, all sports writing is going to have to be done online eventually, or?
As far as newspapers are concerned?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not qualified to answer it, but it certainly doesn't look good for newspapers. Yeah. They're going to have to find a different revenue stream, because it doesn't really seem that they can stay viable with the door-to-door delivery, with the exception of maybe a few of the major papers that have been able to kind of establish themselves. But
what about sports journalism specifically? I mean, is it like, what's the future of sports journalism looking like? I mean, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, online.
Yeah,
online.
Okay.
I mean, people don't. The thing with sports is, the paper used to have box scores, and that was so revolutionary. You didn't know what Tony Gwynn did the night before until you got the paper in the morning and you looked that he was 3 for 4 and the Padres won 7-3. Now you get that at the click of a mouse. You know, you can. I mean, you're following your fantasy team.
Yeah.
As the games progress, so you don't really need the paper for a game recap the next morning. But there's still those reporter pieces that, hey, I got post-game interview with the coaches and players after the game, and I can let you in on this. But I think that kind of reporting is going to be, people are going to look online for that rather than the paper.
All right.
Or they already are. I mean.
Well, thanks a lot for joining me. Just wanted to say thank you real quick for this. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just a reminder, you can read and view more of Bill's work on KSBY News as a weekday multimedia journalist and weekend sports anchor, as well as check out www.ksby.com, as well as their Facebook and Twitter pages.